Welcome to the Road to Reno podcast, where we're unpacking all things World Long Drive as the best long drivers across the globe gear up for the 2026 World Long Drive Championship in Reno, Nevada this October. First up, the reigning Open Division World Champion, the man himself, Zack Holton. I'm Will Birmingham. With me today is Mike Ambrose, our VP of Operations here at World Long Drive. We're glad to have you here, Mike. He's been in this world a lot longer than I have, as we know, so he's going to bring that veteran lens to these chats. Mike, why don't you tell the people how long you've been around the long drive world?
It's great to be here, Will. Thanks for having me. And I think I've been around longer than you've been born, probably, Will. So that's not a good thing, or maybe it is a good thing. Who knows? But yeah, I've been around a long time. And Zach was probably maybe not have been born as well. So, but yeah, since 1997 was my first event, and I haven't looked back since. So, seen a lot of competitors come through long drive, seen the sport, the transformation it's taken, and definitely have a huge amount of respect for the athletes and what they do, and glad that hopefully we can continue to showcase them on the platform that they deserve, because they are some tremendous athletes, and we're lucky to have one of the best in the business with us today.
So speaking of, we're kicking off the Road to Reno podcast with none other than the reigning 2025 Open Division World Champion. Please welcome Zack Holton. Zack, thanks for being here today with us. We're pumped to have you.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here.
And for those who don't know you, we're going to start, I think, all the way at the beginning. But before we do that, let's talk about where are we finding you today? Where are you at right now?
So currently in the office at my day job. Work for a company called AmWINS. So my role with them is I'm a commercial property underwriter and specialize in hurricane insurance, mostly in the Southeast. So we're obviously busy time right now in the middle of the summer, peak hurricane season. So we've kind of got that going the rest of the year. But luckily I'm able to get out after hours and hit some golf balls as well.
Mm-hmm. And we know they're big supporters of you, which is awesome. How does that make that like work/long drive schedule easier at times?
Yeah, it's huge being able to have their backing and support is kind of everything. Being able to have their blessing to travel, and obviously I'm going to miss a little bit of time, but luckily most of our events are over the weekends. Yeah. It's just kind of a balancing act between traveling during the work week, but also being available to answer emails, get on the phone, talk with the brokers that we work with, clients. So,
quick question. I mean, I think a lot of our viewers won't maybe not understand or don't know that a lot of you do have day jobs, and probably don't know that you're probably, if you have let's say a later grouping or later tea time, as we would call it, you're probably doing emails in the morning, right? Or doing some stuff with your work, where a lot of people probably wouldn't understand that. Or maybe if you're done early, you had that 9 o'clock grouping and you're done by 10:30, you're probably going back and solving some work issues. Hopefully there's not many issues, but you're probably getting some calls and solving some emails, right?
Yeah, it's putting out any fires that come up while I'm away. Like you said, if we have an afternoon group, I might be on the computer for 3 or 4 hours in the morning, just trying to get everything done that needs to be done, or even trying to get ahead a bit, just because I know if I'm traveling back during a weekday, like it's going to be pretty busy. So just making sure I've got everything done that I need to, but situations do pop up where I have to be available, and sometimes it could be in the middle of a round robin where I look at my phone and I see a bunch of emails, that stress starts creeping in.
Has that happened before? Has Hurricane Isaac interrupted during one of your rounds and you're getting calls?
Yeah. So first ever world championship for me, or I guess, no, it was second. So 2022 Hurricane Ian barreled through Southwest Florida, and I turned on the TV at the hotel, and the street cams are underwater in Fort Myers, and it's like, I got to be at the grid in 30 minutes. So I'm answering emails and checking on everything. So kind of have to switch a gear and like not worry about what's coming with work and focus on, the grid in front of me. So it definitely is a balancing act between the two. And I'm very fortunate to be able to travel a little bit easier than some other guys. I know people are taking red eyes and even missing events just because they can't balance it with work, can't get off. So definitely very fortunate to be where I'm at. Yeah.
And Zach, we know you're a Birmingham, Alabama guy through and through. Great name, by the way. So talk to us about your roots there and about your family a little bit.
Yeah, so born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Ended up going to college in Birmingham as well, Birmingham Southern College, to play golf for them. It just kind of happened by chance that I went there. I honestly wasn't really considering it before I was going to go to Auburn and do the whole college life thing, and then ended up having a good back into my high school career, and that kind of opened the door for Birmingham Southern, and ended up going there, and it was honestly a great decision. Met my wife there and was able to continue my golf career, which ultimately led me into the World Long Drive. So I don't think if I would have done that path, I don't know if I'd be sitting here talking with you guys today. So yeah, but born and raised in Birmingham. My family's here. My parents, my brother just moved back. So it's kind of the home that I've always known, and kind of see it going that way in the future as well.
Nice. You mentioned a brother. Do you have any other siblings, or is it just you and him?
Just one older brother,
Nice.
and he's married and has a 2.5-year-old nephew, or I have a 2.5-year-old nephew, and they've got another baby girl on the way. So the family's expanding, so we're excited for them.
That's awesome.
So are you waiting to win another world championship before you start having kids?
Good question.
Don't want to get into that too much.
Next.
But it would be bad to win another world championship.
It's a topic of discussion for sure.
So how old are you? Wait, hold on. How old are you, Zach? How old are you?
Yeah.
I'm 29. I'll be 30. I'll be 30 at the end of the year.
So you were in diapers when I started World Long Drive in 1997.
Born in 96, so I was crawling around a little bit, but it is crazy. When I started Long Drive, I was 24, and it's I got used to. I remember it's like, hey, new guy on the block. I'm only 24. I'm only 25, and now I'm almost 30. It's kind of crazy how time flies.
Well, I'm 24, so maybe that's a sign I should get into it this year. But you've mentioned in the past like a late growth spurt that sort of ended up pushing you towards golf. Walk us through that. Like, what kind of athlete were you growing up?
Yeah, growing up, I was kind of do all the sports and pick which one you want later. And so I did, even up till middle school, I did basketball, football, and golf. And then the growth spurt delay I didn't hit really my full growth spurt until the end of my freshman year of high school. And at that point, I didn't make the basketball team. I didn't really want to play football at that point. And then, so it was just golf. And so I just kind of kept the golf thing going. And then, so I was super tall and lanky, and, people always ask if could I always hit it as far as I do now? And, the answer is no, but, I did hit it long compared to being, 16, 17 years old. And then, my length really kicked off is when I got to college, and my coach was a personal trainer as well. And he got me, he showed me what a weight room is. And I kind of fell in love with the process of getting in the weight room and getting bigger and stronger. And then that's kind of propelled my distance in college. And then once I got out of college, I started doing the long drive thing, and it's kind of trying to figure out where you can get better, like in the weight room, and getting stronger, and in long drive getting faster, and being able to pair those two as well. Kind of develop a training program to figure out what works best for me, leading into tournaments, and to be able to work on my swing and gain speed at the same time. So it's always a balancing act between the two. But I've part of the being at the gym is kind of part of who I am now. And so a lot of credit to my freshman golf coach. that kind of got me into it.
Zach, has your collegiate golf career, and I know you recently just played in the Alabama Amateur and made the cut, so congratulations on that, because anytime you make a cut in an amateur tournament like that, to me, it's you golfed your ball. That's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But has that helped as you've gone into long drive? And I'm not talking maybe golf swing, but I'm talking maybe just putting balls in play, because you're one of the best that puts balls in play in our sport. There's no doubt about that. Nobody should argue with me on that comment, because you definitely put a lot of golf balls in play. So has your collegiate playing career or playing golf helped with that aspect of long drive?
Yeah, for sure. I think just being used to the, we always say the competitive juices, being used to standing up on a tee box and needing to hit a good golf shot to whether it's the first hole of the day or the last hole of a tournament, being able to harness that golf ability and mental game is really, really big for me. I think I know physically I'm there with my swing. So it just comes down to the mental side of knowing that, one, I'm good enough to win a set or win a tournament, and then being able to mentally just, push everything out and focus on the shot that needs to be hit at the right time. And, I think just having more experience with that through golf and then through just time on the grid, it kind of gets me to feel like I'm in a good spot mentally.
Do you prefer hitting on a hole when we're doing long drive, or do you like the wide open feel, or do you think you have the advantage when we are on a hole? Does that help you out, do you think?
Yeah, I think, obviously, like hitting on a big, wide turf farm is favorable for everyone for balls in play. But for me, I feel like I do lose a little bit of an advantage when the grid is super wide. Being on a golf hole, you're able to focus on a target a little bit easier. Maybe it's even a shot shape that we're working on for that specific hole. And I think that can psych a lot of guys out.
Right.
When the trees and the water 2 years ago, the World Championship is encroaching the grid. It can feel a lot smaller when you're trying to hit it over 400 yards. And I think for me, being able to pick a target out and hone in on a specific shot that I'm looking for, I'm able to really take advantage of that. And I feel like that does give me a benefit.
So it kind of helps. So do you look for a spot like on the grid? If people are saying right side's hot, do you try to hit that side? And I think it's probably to your advantage, because you can flight your ball and control a lot of your shot pattern. So
yeah. In World Championship last year, we found the right side of the grid to be hotter, and so it was a 70, 80 yard wide grid. But when you've got part of the grid that's running faster than everything else, then it kind of becomes a 30 or 40 yard wide grid. And for me, I was able to really focus on hitting the right shot into the right side of the grid to really, get the most out of the ball that I could. You'll see a bunch of big drives down the left side, but even in the air, you're like, I just know that ball's not going to be as far because it's not on the hot spot. So, so I think that I drew a lot of success with that at the World Championship, being able to really focus on hitting that section of the grid and being confident that I know that I can. And I was able to replicate that, especially in the round of 16 when you need to the most. And then obviously in the match play, I was able to hit it pretty well overall.
Yeah. Aside from the match play, the round of 16 is probably the greatest. It's one of the greatest rounds in long drive you're ever going to have, because the round of 16 is so, it's the best of the best. It doesn't get better than that. And the pressure is right there, because 8 of you are going home and 8 of you are going to the World Championship. So to be able to do it the way, and I think you won that, didn't you? Didn't you win the round of 16? You were the number 1 seed going into the final. So that's that round is we call it the ultimate round. It's the best round there is in long drive. So
I love it. Every year I've been fortunate enough to get to the top 16 in every World Championship that I've competed in, and it's like,
wow. That's something.
You wake up that morning and it's going to be a bloodbath. Anybody can beat anybody in every set, and
and that's kind of a set where I think in the first couple rounds, you can probably forego a bad set, where in the round of 16, you just don't want to have a bad set there. I mean, you just don't know what could happen if you have a bad set. You can maybe get away with it, but you don't want to put yourself in that situation, is what it seems like.
Speaking of championship, last year, Zach, take us back to that 2025 championship. Speaking of bloodbath, actually, we know you battled through James Tate, Justin James to get there, but then you've also mentioned that you were dealing with being sick during that event to top it off. Walk us through how you fought through all that and what that was like.
Yeah, early in the week and then even in the first 2 rounds, I was kind of fighting I don't know what it was, a bug or something. I was sleeping awful. I was super congested. The congestion built up in my sinuses, so I just everything was like muffled. Everything was super like quiet, which was kind of weird. Being in a long drive event, you want to be feeling the music and pumped up, but for me, it was almost I was in like my own little bubble on the tee box for the first 2 rounds, and like my voice was kind of gone, and I was happy to see everybody because it's a world championship, but I was just like fist bumping them, just be like, hey man, I don't want to get you sick. Like I don't want you to have what I've got going on. So
good man.
I really didn't feel 100% until I got to the round 16, and I just kind of built off what I had been doing for the first few rounds, and I was hitting it really well. Just being able to really focus on what I was doing and working on the right shot shape that we've talked about. And so being able to focus on that, and then once I felt really good in the round of 16, I just kind of took off from there. Like you said, going up against James in the top 8, and then Justin in the top 4, and then ultimately Scotty in the championship. It was, it felt like a serious gauntlet to overcome. But when you've got guys like that, I mean, it's really, you just got to take it one ball at a time, because they're going to hit a good ball, and the best thing that you can do is just react to what they're doing, and then trust in your game. And every match was super tight. I only beat James by 4 yards. I beat Justin by a measurement of a yard. And then Scotty, obviously we were tied with 2 balls to go. And it's like, I mean, this is absolutely nuts. But fortunately I was able to hit my 5th ball, which was the second best ball of my career, at 471. So it was, you try not to get ahead of yourself when you get to the top 8, trying to, you're mapping out who you're going to be facing against. But I mean, it's like anybody can beat you at any second. So really just staying present with every match that you've got, and just hope that you're the last one standing at the end.
Mm-hmm. And walk us through how dramatic that moment was when you guys were tied, 4-ball tie at 459, and then you hit that drive. Like, what was that? Did that just like breath of fresh air, or how did that feel when you hit that?
Yeah, I mean, being tied at 459, the ball that I hit, like I knew I hit it good, but you just kind of know the difference between hitting a good one and then absolutely just puring it. Like there's no doubt that ball's going to be further. So being the number popping up that we're tied, it's just like, I think I yelled over at Scotty, just like, come on, like we're doing this. This is awesome. Yeah. And then it was his turn to go. He hit it OB, and then, I don't really remember like the process that I went through or the actual swing that I had. Just, you kind of black out. But I mean, based on my reaction, you can immediately tell that I knew that it was just a huge ball. And luckily, sometimes when you even yell at the ball, it comes back shorter, and you're like, I don't really know what's going on there. But I mean, the ball was perfect flight, perfect line that I was trying to hit. And I mean, it was absolutely roasted. So coming back at 471, it's like, it's a total match change, because Scotty's only got 1 ball left. If I did that on like my 2nd ball, and he's got 4 swings still to go, he can react and really try to put the hammer down and push the speed, because he knows he's got to catch a number. But when you do it with 1 ball left, it's like, I don't know, psychologically, it's like, man, I've got to hit this ball perfect or it's over.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just the release of knowing that ball was, he's got one ball left. And then, when he hit it OB, I think I still hit my 6th ball and I barely made contact, it seemed like, because I knew it was pretty much over. And, just the total release of emotion, knowing that you've just done what you've dreamt of doing the last 5 or 6 years, and you were able to pull it off in the heat of the moment. So have everybody behind you, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that giving me chills. Yeah, that's sick. Speaking of Scotty, we know you have a lot of respect for him. He's currently sitting in that world number 1 spot. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously always at the end of tournaments, and more than likely we're going to end up facing each other. It always seems like we come up in match play against each other, and we've had our battles. He's beat me and I beat him. So, I mean, it's like every single time someone's going to hit a huge ball against each other, it seems. So, I mean, he's obviously a huge competitor, and, he likes to put on a show, and, when he gets the crowd behind him and he's feeling it, he's really tough to beat. Because he just launches it a million miles in the air and the ball just keeps going and going. So, I mean, it's always fun to share the tee with him. He's a great competitor and a great man out off the tee box as well. But, I'm sure he'll say the same thing. The most important thing when we're on the tee box together is I'm trying to just absolutely destroy him. And I know that he'll probably say the exact same thing if you ask the same question. Yeah.
I live and die. I'm the most competitive person you know. And I know that's a thing a lot of people say, but I don't care what we're doing. I want to beat you. It's not for the winning. It's not for the money. I really love just trying to beat people at what they're trying to do.
Speaking of that and all the traveling, and you're always hanging out with these guys and you see each other a lot, but now you've become the hunted. You're not the hunter. For regardless if they're in the same Airbnb with you, you're still the hunted now, right? And not the hunter. What is that? Has that done anything, or do you see that any different than what you did last year? Because obviously last year you had a great season. I mean, you were player of the year. You won the world championship, but you have 3 wins last year. So, I mean, there's no doubt you were the best player in the sport, and you obviously became the hunted pretty quick or after the September event. So how do you look at that differently, or do you look at it any different going into Reno this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stay within myself, I guess, trying not to, I'm not walking around with, thinking I'm above everybody.
With the belt on your shoulder.
Are you going to carry your belt into the Airbnb?
Yeah, it's heavy. I mean, it weighs that suitcase down for sure. But I think just trying to stay within myself and approach this championship just like I did last year, or really any other tournament that I do, is just focusing on the training and the preparation that I've got, and really just taking that and then applying it to the grid. So I try to tell myself in my head that, come up with a little narrative that I'm still the underdog somehow, and just try to harness that. Like I can, Scotty's world number 1, so I'm trying to chase him and get that number 1 spot back. So it's really just trying to, I mean, I know people are gunning for me because I'm the reigning world champ, and what do they want to do on the tee is knock out the world champ at the world championship. But I think just trying to stay within myself and maintain my process and preparation is kind of everything I'm just thinking about. I know everybody's working super hard to get ready for the championship, and so the only thing I can do is just try to prepare as good as they are, and just put my energy out on the grid. So
what's your training like heading into the world championships? We're almost at the end of July, so we've got basically all of August and all of September, so you got 2 months. What's your training regimen like, or do you ramp up right now and then cool off, or do you kind of build up to the world championship, or do you play more golf tournaments for psychological reasons? What's your training like?
Yeah, I'll usually ramp up. The training will start ramping up about now, is hitting a lot of golf balls, and then kind of starting to tailor my work in the gym to be a little more dynamic, and then trying to get my nutrition dialed and everything like that. So for me, I find a lot of success of just going out on the range and hitting a ton of drivers and working on different shot shapes, working on different drills, trying to put a little more pressure applied on myself rather than just out there just banging balls. Like, I'm really trying to make sure I'm practicing with a purpose. And if I've got any weaknesses on different shots that I'm trying to hit, really making sure I'm spending time with that and making sure that I feel comfortable actually hitting that shot on the grid. It might not even come up that we need to hit a specific or a draw or a fade or whatever, but I want to make sure that I'm able to adapt going into the tournament, because the conditions can change day by day. And if I've done the preparation and maybe somebody else hasn't, then that's the edge that I've got on them for the day, and that could be the difference of advancing through or winning a match or something like that. So you never know what conditions are going to be thrown at you, but you got to make sure that you're ready to go.
Being in Reno, you've obviously been very successful in LaSalle, where you've maybe won 3 out of the last 4 times we've been there, or something like that. Pretty close to that. Being in Reno, the altitude's not much, or it's pretty close to LaSalle, maybe 400 or 500 feet. I think we looked the difference. Any way you prepare differently from when you're in Reno versus like you were in Wellington, Florida, or is there something you do different with equipment or anything like that for the higher altitude?
Yeah, not too much equipment change. It's more just the different shots that I'm hitting. If we're at sea level, I know I got to launch it super high, but cut the spin down, because if there's any type of wind, it's just going to float in the heavy air and it's not going to go anywhere. So, but being at altitude, like you said, in LaSalle, and then also the events we've had in Salt Lake City, I've always just seemed to do well at altitude. So I think it's just a product of I do spin the ball a little bit more than some other guys. I think the extra spin just allows it to float in the air, in the thin air. So it's in the air a little bit longer and can ride the thinner air, but definitely need to still be able to hit it higher. And that was one adjustment that I made last year that obviously there were fruits of my labor, and getting 2 wins at altitude, and then the other win in Connecticut as well. So being able to adapt and be able to be more comfortable hitting it higher was certainly a bonus. But I really don't try to change my approach too much, but I think with, I obviously have confidence going into a tournament at altitude because I've had so much success. So everyone always talks about is like, oh, the ball flies really well at altitude. I'm like, well, it flies really well for everybody at altitude. So
right,
it's being able to make sure that you're hitting the right shots. If it's an all carry grid, then I got to be able to adapt. But if it's, we're able to use the ground a little bit more, being able to hit a more penetrating ball at that point as well. So really trying not to alter my training too much with it. It's just, I know that my shot works at altitude as we've seen. So I feel good. I feel good with that going into it.
For our viewers, what equipment are you using, like lofts and flexes, just so give them an idea of the type of equipment that a guy like you uses with your speeds?
Yeah, so use Callaway Elite Head. It's 4.5 degrees. We have the setting to adjust it either 1 up or down 2, so it could be a 2.5 to a 5.5. I usually try to keep it at 4.5. Just because I need a little extra loft to keep it up, to get it up in the air a little bit more. I might tack it down to 3.5 a little bit if I'm trying to cut a little bit of spin, but then I'm really going to need to try to hit up on the ball more to get it elevated. But then I'm using Kinetics shafts. I've used the same Kinetics design for really the last 4 or 5 years.
What's your flex on that?
So it's about what anyone would correlate with like an extra stiff shaft, but because it is longer, it almost lengthens out the stiffness, and so it's not as stiff as if you'd feel a shorter.
Plays a little more flexible.
And speaking of shafts and the kinetic shafts, I know you mentioned that when you made that switch, that was sort of like a real turning point, sudden jump in speed. But before that, jumping back a little bit, we know your story starts with a flyer that your dad sent you, sort of how you got into World Long Drive, and you guys just sort of went online and picked out a driver that wasn't kinetic shaft. Talk a little bit about that origin story and sort of how that evolved.
Yeah, so it was like Golf Channel released a promo for the World Championship coming up, and this was like 2016. And my dad grew up, his dad was a boxer, so they were always watching boxing, and they're watch the heavyweight champion of the world win the match. And so he texted me, he was like, "You could be the champion of the world one day." I was like, haha, whatever. But then the Long Drive Tour was picking up steam on the Golf Channel, and there was a qualifier in Memphis over the summer, and I was like, I was middle of college golf, but I hit it a long way, but let's see what kind of yardages I could try to put up. So we ended up buying a long drive driver off Art Sellinger's golf shop, and just took it and went to Memphis, hit 6 balls in the qualifier, didn't qualify, and drove home. So it was like, well, didn't get a whole lot out of it, but it kind of got me, the experience of like just getting on a grid and trying to hit the ball as far as you can. And then once I continued to watch the long drive stuff just because I thought it was super interesting in 2019. And then I was like, once I got out of college in 2019, I was like, I'm going to maybe try to give this like long drive thing, like try to train for it at least a little bit going into the next year's qualifiers to see what could actually happen. So over the winter, I got a little more equipment. There was a guy here that we know, he was doing a little bit of long drive as well, and so he gave me a few shafts and a few heads, and I've got a net and a mat in my backyard that I'm hitting into, just trying to maybe build up a little bit of speed, just because I knew the top guys on the tour at that time were 150 club head, 220 ball speed. I'm like, I'm nowhere near that. So I knew I had to swing, get my swing up to, at least a little bit of a baseline speed, and was kind of feeling good, ready to go into 2020. And then COVID shut the whole thing down. I was like, well, I can either stop or just continue training on my own. And then once hopefully the tour opens back up after COVID, and we can go from there. And luckily the PLDA came along and picked up the tour, and I was getting ready for the qualifiers, but then they posted that they're going to be holding amateur events as well. And I was like, that's perfect, because it's, lower level entry, cheaper, and it's for guys like me that are trying to get into the sport and get their feet wet and don't have any experience on the grid. And so went back to Memphis for the first amateur event, and finished second. I got 6-balled by Kyle Gabbard, and it was like, welcome to Long Drive, got 6-balled in the championship, and it was what it was. And I did the qualifier there as well, and didn't qualify, but was able to gain a little bit more experience, and kept doing the amateur events and the qualifiers, and got 2 wins in the amateur division, and then was able to actually compete in a pro event as an amateur, and had some, did pretty well. It was just 16 guys, and I finished 9th, in a round robin format, and still felt pretty good about that, because it was a good weekend of hitting and everything. And then the next amateur event I won again at Bobby's, and then ended up actually beating Scotty, coincidentally enough, to qualify for my first world championship. And so that was a huge turning point of, I've secured a spot in the world championship. I'm going to be hitting against the guys that I've been watching for years. And at that point, I was I started hitting the kinetics, and my speeds jumped a lot just because it was newer technology and better fit for me than what I was using. And I ended up finishing second in my first pro event that weekend as well, behind Kyle. So it kind of just really took off. And then I finished fifth at the World Championship that year, sharing a tee with, Bryson DeChambeau and, hitting against all the top guys. And it was just like, man, this is a lot of fun, like this. And because of my finish, I was able to get exempt for the World Championship the next year. And so going into 2022, first full year on the tour, I was able to really set a schedule and really get used to competing in all these events. And, I didn't have the best year, like as, in my sophomore slump, if you will, but still just continued to gain that experience, and then was able to get my first win, the World Champion, get my first win on tour the next year. And so, just having that added experience, kind of builds on itself for sure. And, just being able to apply what I've learned every tournament from losing, is, definitely helps you get those wins.
Do you still have that original club, or is that long gone now?
No, I still got the original,
Oh, nice.
It's a Patterson shaft. It's actually what Kinetics used to be. And so, but it's super stiff. It's what everyone thinks. It's like a triple X shaft. It's like you're swinging the telephone pole. It's like your forearms are worn out after hitting for like 20 minutes. But I attribute a lot of my early success and speed to just, hitting that driver for, almost 2 years of having that experience. And then when I switched to a softer shaft, I'm like, wow, this is way easier to swing.
Yeah. And Zach, you were talking about when you were getting into the sport. Speaking of newcomers, there's some emerging names in World Long Drive right now, like Logan Schott or Nick DeLeo, who are already posting like 220s to 230s, early on. What does that what does that do, to the competition, or what does that say for the sport that new guys are putting up numbers like that?
Yeah, we always say, like, it seems like every year we've got one or two guys or whoever just coming out of the woodwork. It's like these guys come out, post crazy speeds, and it's like, who are these guys? Every year it seems like there's somebody else doing it. And I obviously I was not like that. I was, trying to build up my speed, and it's like, I just don't know how you guys are so fast already. So it's impressive, being able to put up those speeds, that early on in your long drive career. I still haven't hit 230. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's super impressive. And, that's how the sport continues to grow, is having younger guys come in and that are new to the sport and really dive into it and are competitive. And, for us, it sucks because it's just like a couple more guys that we have to worry about. So, Logan obviously won up in Canada already, and Nick qualified for the World Championship, and he's made, I think he made a top.
He made a final 8 at the last Florida event. And so did Logan. He made it at the first tour event.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So, it's great for the sport, but it sucks for the other competitors that are having a season.
Watch out. Yeah.
So Zach, I know you're probably close on time, but we got to ask you. Will and I both looked at it, and we've talked about it. We got to ask you, Zach, before we let you go, the Stomp.
Yeah.
Where is the Stomp? When did it evolve? Then it's gone? Or was it a timetable of when you planned on letting it go? Or was it just a transitional thing? Let us know about the Stomp, because we could have sold a lot of T-shirts if you'd have won the World Championship with Stomp last year.
Yeah. The Stomp, unfortunately, is it's in the closet, retired, probably not coming back. So, it just started out as just a rhythm drill that I was working with, and just to get my body moving. Kyle was doing something like that in 2019 when he won his first championship, and it was just a way to get my feet moving and fluidity to help my swing and the rhythm of everything. And I don't know what happened, but it just slowly started. The feet started moving a little higher and higher, and it just became what it was.
It became the stomp. It became the big stomp.
It peaked in 2023. But yeah, I mean, my coach, Bobby, was always asking, like, hey, he tries to really help us in swinging the swing, like swinging our swing. We've got Jeremy, who's the swing man. He does the huge leg kick and everything. So he coaches him through that, and all power to him. But he asked me, he's like, is the stomp something that you want to keep doing? And I was like, well, like right now, yeah, because I feel like I've got a lot of that's where I get my speed from for whatever reason. And he was like, okay, well, let's work on your mechanics, but we're not going to do it with the stomp. Just eliminate that variable right now. We're gonna work on your swing a little bit. And that session, I ended up putting up 227 ball speed without the stomp, and it was just kind of like maybe I can swing with this like not even.
Now, you didn't do it when you played golf, right? Or were you?
No,
doing
never.
It when you played golf? Okay,
it was just a long drive thing.
Gotcha.
And so it was that drill that we were working on kind of showed me that I could do away with it if I wanted to. Like the speed is still there, can still get comfortable in a sense to be able to put up good numbers. But that drill was inside doing it. And then when I went outside, I was like, I can't hit the ball anywhere, like without the stomp. Like it was just a total like psychological switch that I just couldn't flip. And then I just continued to try to get rid of it a little bit. And it took me almost 4 months to really get comfortable swinging without it. It was definitely a process and took longer than I thought it would to do away with it. But that was 2024, which felt like I had a good year. I felt like I was in top 8, top 4, almost every event. And I just could not get over the hurdle for whatever reason. And then, get to the world championship in 2024 and top 8 against Jack, and I lose by 7 inches. It's like, I was an inch away in the measurement from a tie, and we're redoing the set. It's just like 2024 just did not go my way, but just continuing to develop my swing and get more comfortable with it. Obviously last year was a huge success. And, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a, trigger that it was, I've got to get rid of the stomp to be able to be successful. It just kind of, my swing just kind of, just kind of phased it out. And my swing just kind of evolved without it. And, it's obviously worked out. But yeah, it just kind of was a part of me early in my career. And I still get people at our club here in Birmingham, hey, are you going to, they're like, hey, like hit it as far as you can. And then they start mimicking the stomp, just like, because that's what they really remember. Like it's very polarizing almost. So
you would have won a world championship. You would have saw a lot of people the next day on the driving range after watching the telecast doing the stomp.
Oh yeah. Love it. It was definitely a fan favorite when I was hitting it. And then, it just, the swing kind of evolved away from it, but the stomp made its run, and but I don't see it coming back anytime soon, unless somebody else wants to pick it up.
Well, with the success you had last year, I don't see why you would have to bring it back anyway. Yeah. So you had a great year last year. So
on that, Zach, we wanted to thank you for joining us here on the Road to Reno podcast. We were really excited to kick things off with you, the reigning champ. So best of luck with the prep, 2 months out, and we can't wait to see you in Reno. Yeah, looking forward to it, and somebody's got to win it. Might as well be me again.
Don't understand why not. So, well, good luck to you, Zach, as you prepare, and we'll see you in Reno. Thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Really appreciate it. Yeah.